Welcome, Leggy Blondes, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I didn't see. You could see my legs from here. I'm Mike.
And with us again is our friend Jonna, who's joined us to close out our Hitchcock month. Very excited about this one. I also want to welcome back to the show my allergies. So if you see me dabbing at my nose or having a blow my nose or anything like that, that's what it is, because it's summer and I don't get them as bad as I used to, but today I've been goddamn miserable. So it's been fun. Thankfully I didn't have a lot of meetings at work. So anyway, let's talk about, in my personal opinion, the best thing Hitchcock ever did, Rear Window.
I haven't seen nearly enough Hitchcock to agree with that or disagree with that. Out of the four we did this month, I think Psycho is still my favorite.
Okay.
But this one's probably my second favorite.
Okay. How about you, Jonna?
I really, this was probably my favorite. I enjoyed it slightly more than Vertigo.
Okay.
But for entirely different reasons. This one was interesting because as much as James Stewart's character is a voyeur on his neighbors, you are too as the audience.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that they do kind of sort of call him out on it. I mean, they call him out in the first scene, and then they kind of backtrack on not calling out all the way throughout the movie, but they do bring it up at least.
They do. What I enjoy about this movie is that it is almost completely a single setting movie.
Yeah.
You never actually enter somebody else's house at all. Everything is through the window.
Yeah.
So you're actively watching that. Straight up, I love that set. I absolutely love the multi-tiered set that they built for that.
It was like a series of dollhouse rooms stacked one on top of the other. And the characters all sort of played like someone does with dolls.
Yeah.
They're just a whole different thing. It's like they're his television because he doesn't have one.
Right. Yeah, and cause I watched this thing with my entire family because Autumn hadn't seen it in years. Like, she bought me the DVD, like, I think we first started dating, and the kids had never seen it. So they're like, well, doesn't he have a radio? Doesn't he have a TV? It's like, well, he might be too early for TV. The other thing is, too, is that up until he got laid up, he was never there.
Yeah.
That's right. He was always on the move.
Right.
So, you wonder how he ever had the time to meet Grace Kelly's character.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, can you say she put a lot more effort into the relationship than he did?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. 1,000 times yes.
And also, she is absolutely gorgeous. No offense, Jonna, but
she is
it's Grace Kelly.
Stunning.
It's Grace Kelly, you know?
Yeah. She is absolutely stunning in this movie. Absolutely the best of the Hitchcock blondes.
Although I have to say, the female character who most intrigued me was Thelma Ritters.
Yes.
As his nurse, Stella. She's the voice of reason throughout the whole thing. And she's also the voice of plain speaking, who tells him flat out that he's passing up a good thing and he's too stupid to know it.
Right. Well, that was like her thing. Like throughout her entire career, she was always the voice of reason. And it's funny when you watch these older movies and then you immediately recognize them, but you're trying to place where you've seen them.
It took me a while, but I did figure out she was the confused mother from Miracle on 34th Street. Yep. I just don't get it. When she was being directed to a store other than Macy's by Macy's Santa.
Yeah. Oh, she was fantastic in this.
And also, she's the one that notices that Miss Lonely Hearts had a little bit too many pills sitting out there.
Well, yeah.
As a
well,
nurse.
she's a nurse.
Yeah, and there's a nurse.
I want to know also what kind of insurance plan Jimmy Stewart had, where you could break a leg and they would be sending somebody out to your house to give you massages. Because, dang, I want that plan.
Yeah, that was the 1950s.
He's also an award-winning photographer.
Yes, and it wasn't a for-profit model at that point. So, but yeah, her character definitely added a lot of life to it. It's funny too because I feel like Hitchcock did a great job of making Jimmy Stewart just kind of feel not as likable as like Frank Capra had him. Frank Capra had him as, you know, the lovable everyman. And in this, you know, he's got other thoughts. He's got like that whole argument he has with Lisa about just the state of their relationship and everything.
Well, it's another case where his character has a perfectly wonderful woman there, and he just can't seem to commit.
Right.
Just like in Vertigo.
Yeah. Barbara Bel Geddes in that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
vanished in that movie.
Yeah, he was. It's like, but then maybe that's. I don't know how old he was when he made this movie, but I know that Jimmy Stewart himself didn't actually marry until he was like 40 years old.
Right.
Well, in this one, he was
maybe they were keeping him perpetual bachelor. I don't know.
In this one, he was about 21 years older than Grace Kelly, and in Vertigo, he was, I think, 25 years older than Julia.
Yeah, why am I blanking on her name? Not Tippi Hedren.
No.
Oh, good Lord. Now I gotta look it up. Thanks.
Julia Madeline.
Yeah, looking.
I remember Barbara Bel Geddes. I just can't remember.
I'm looking.
Midge.
Yeah.
Midge.
Yeah, that was yeah.
But you want to talk the person who they aged the way heck up so much that I didn't even recognize him? The killer himself, who went on to become possibly the most famous attorney in TV history, Raymond Burr.
Matlock. Yep. Kim Novak, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, Kim Novak. Yes. So yeah, I mean, so he escaped from the police and then went to Japan, where he was reporting on Godzilla.
Yeah.
But they had aged him up so much, I honestly didn't recognize him. And I used to watch Raymond Burr's courtroom antics all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, but the thing is that I think he fit the mold of someone who could legitimately kill their own wives with their hands, with like their bare hands.
And he was wearing the classic Superman disguise.
Yeah.
You know? He put on, they changed his hair and they put on a pair of glasses. Boom. Absolutely no recognition of him whatsoever.
Very, very true. Very true.
It's weird, like, when I first, like, read the synopsis of this movie, like, you know, like, what is about, you know, I hadn't seen this one in a while, so I had forgotten how they pad out all the rest of the time, because I'm like, he's a killer, so how do they fill this and like make it into a 2-hour movie? Then you remember, oh yeah, all those other rooms have their own little stories that you kind of get snippets of, and that what's really fills out. It's basically the figure, all the servants in Beauty and the Beast. It was just Beauty and the Beast. It'd be a very boring movie. You put in all these old characters, suddenly it becomes a lot more information, a lot more fun.
I love too the fact that you got a really good idea about what every character was about without really ever hearing them speak.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an errant word here or there, but like, especially Miss Lonely Hearts.
Yeah.
You know, watching that whole thing with her kind of pantomiming a date.
That was so sad.
It is.
And she ends up hooking up with Dave Seville.
Was that Dave Seville?
His real name is Ross Bagdasarian, but otherwise known as Dave Seville.
He didn't bring the chipmunks with him that day.
So that literally was him playing all the music.
Wow. I had no idea.
I didn't either until I was looking through the cast list there. I was like, right, that's a really interesting. Let's see what else. Oh, Dave Seville. Oh, okay.
That's wow. Okay, yeah, I never even got that. But like Miss Torso.
Yeah.
And watching her whole thing of having to entertain all these gentlemen, and then finally at the end of the movie, her boyfriend comes home and he's just this itty bitty kind of nebbishy looking, soldier.
The schlubby sailor, right?
Yep.
But she clearly adored him.
Yep.
Yes.
And the newlywed couple, where the husband keeps coming out to the window, and the wife keeps dragging him back.
Yep. The couple that were sleeping out on their fire escape.
Until it started to rain on them.
Yep. With the dog.
That hit me where I live,
Yeah.
Don't kill the dog. But of course, that just goes to establish the killer Thorvald's villain bona fides.
Yeah.
Anyone who would kill the dog.
Right.
And plus that that might have been my favorite shot in the movie. Like everybody just like looking out the window, like screaming and all that, and you just see the dark of the apartment and just that little light from him smoking.
Yeah.
That was I love that shot. Hitchcock's always been great with light and shadow.
Yes. Exactly. Especially towards the end.
Yeah.
When, he's, Thorwald is coming to get him. And it's a darkened room and he's got those flash bulbs.
The only defense that he has,
right,
since he's incapacitated.
That was one of the issues I had with this. So Thorvald's like slowly stalking through him. He sees him putting a new flash bulb in. He's covering his eyes. Maybe I should do the same.
Yeah. Well, you can't strangle somebody with one hand, Mike. I mean, come on. But do you think that scene might have inspired somebody to be like, what if we could make a reusable flash?
Yeah.
Because I remember
there's an idea
having either the flash stack or the flash cubes.
Yes.
I remember. Flash cubes, so you take the picture and it would swivel, and you got 4 shots.
Yeah. And you could actually stack them on top of each other too.
Right. Well, they used to just make one too that had I think 8.
Yeah.
8 flashes in a row.
Well, I'm sure
back a month later and find out how overexposed everything is.
I'm sure Jeff would have gotten great sympathy though from Scotty of Vertigo, the dangling off a building, and then he manages to break his other leg.
Yeah,
and that's actually the one shot in this movie where it is actually take place outside the apartment.
One of the very few.
And that was also probably my biggest laugh when Dewey was talking to the nurse, you want to come see? No, I don't want a penny piece of her.
Yeah.
And you wonder which piece the dog was sniffing around, right? Because you never know. They never say exactly.
But that was a cool thing about this, is that they kept you guessing as to. I mean, it was almost like it could have just been an open and shut case.
Yeah.
Everybody's an idiot except for Jeff. And they don't let you in on, because there are things that he's still an unreliable narrator in that sense.
Yeah.
He fell asleep during a crucial portion of it, so we don't know what happened.
Yeah. And
everybody figures that he's partially losing it because of cabin fever. That he's been cooped up so long, he has let his imagination run away with him.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, for the most part, this movie it's just kind of like a more of a mystery than any kind of suspense. It's not until that last, like, 10 minutes where you're like, oh, that's when the suspense happens, because you got Lisa crawling into the apartment and Thorvald confronting him. You see, then Thorvald realizes he's being watched, so he starts stalking towards that apartment. That's when all the tension happens. Before that,
right?
It's
but just watching Lisa in the apartment as he is coming in is probably the scariest scene in the entire movie.
Yeah,
because he's helpless.
Yeah,
and all he can do is watch. Like, all he's done this entire time is watch, and now that's like the worst possible thing that he can do is watch.
And he couldn't even give her warning because he was distracted by Miss Lonely Hearts.
Right. Yeah. The music in this was interesting. You know, the fact that this was Franz Waxman. Don't leave him out in the sun, folks. He's a wax man.
Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot of music in this one.
They're not to the extent of Psycho.
No, and not even to the extent of Vertigo, really.
Yeah.
It's almost. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, which is funny considering that one of the people that he's watching is literally a songwriter.
Right. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, that's where we get Hitchcock's cameo in that apartment.
It's almost like The Birds, where the music is all kind of like incidental or happening in the movie.
Yeah, in the confines of the movie. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there is music, in a score, but it's very secondary.
Yeah. So
I think that's because Hitchcock was focusing. Truly, it was a series of character studies.
Yeah.
In each apartment, there was somebody who was getting a little character sketch of them done, as witnessed through the eyes of Jeff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And since he's a photojournalist, he would normally be doing that character study through a camera.
Right.
And instead, it's playing out before his eyes, and he is the camera.
Yeah.
Still use the camera, just not taking pictures with it.
Well, yeah, it's good. I mean, the telephoto lens is way better than the binoculars he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's people watching taking to the next level.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of time that he's kind of stuck doing nothing but looking out the window. And his only distractions are his visits from his nurse and his incredibly rich, hot girlfriend, who's bringing like lobster thermidor to him.
Yes, complete with the waiter.
and then she shows up at his apartment with an absolutely gorgeous looking negligee, and his complaint is she's too perfect.
I will say this movie is one of the most risque movies of this era.
When she opens up the briefcase and you just see the poofy.
Yep. It's all her silky things.
And then when his cop buddy shows up, he just stares at her for a little bit and looks back at him.
Does your landlord know? That is such an odd thing. And thankfully, as a homeowner, I never have to deal with that.
Well, you also had Miss Torso, who, I'm sorry, that is a creepy name for this beautiful young woman. But she's essentially in her dancing around in her what it looks to all the world. I know it's dancewear. It looks like underwear in the entire movie.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize until you just said it that it was dancewear. I thought she was literally dancing around in her bra and panties the entire movie.
And you get more bareback in that movie than I think you did in any movie released at that portion of the 50s.
Yeah.
It's between that, the Newlyweds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not even subtle,
No.
and it's
No.
like, there's a lot of risque stuff there, and not only in terms of just like the ooh, but also like in terms of how the wife was murdered. That she wasn't just murdered; there were parts of her in the Hudson River, and that's. Like that is taking it to an extra step that I don't think we saw a lot of in movies of that time.
Small enough that they could be smuggled out in that case in repeated trips.
And buried in a small corner of a garden.
Yes.
Yeah, so they never actually say that he dismembered her, but...
It's implied very strongly.
Yeah.
Even in the 50s, you would have to be an absolute moron to not get that, what they were hinting at.
Right. And even
what got to me too was while the voyeurism part is very much right there, there was also a sense of claustrophobia.
Yes.
That you got from Jeff being physically trapped by his cast and his inability to do anything but wheel around inside his four walls. But everybody in there was each apartment was, because you only ever see the people in there, they're trapped their same way in their little four walls.
Yeah.
And I'm not super prone to claustrophobia, but even so, that was kind of getting to me like, ooh.
Yeah.
You feel like ants in an anthill where everybody's crammed together, and you kind of you get the idea of that old experiment that if you cram too many rats in one enclosure,
right,
it's going to break down.
Yeah,
there's going to be violence.
Ooh,
Right.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
And
you.
I think and all the in like the heat that obviously we did feel last week.
I'm so sorry, guys.
But yeah, you do get the feeling of the heat permeating in that area, and that also kind of adds to the claustrophobia that we were feeling.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you think the misery that would have been being stuck in that kind of heat, no AC at the time, up several floors in a brick building.
Yeah.
And he's in a plaster cast.
Yes.
I don't know if either of you have ever worn a plaster cast.
I never have, but
I did. They are heavy and they're hot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like showing him, like having that moment. He's got his little scratcher there,
sliding it down his pants to get into his.
Yep. Or to get his toe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I actually have one of those little bamboo back scratchers, which I use for my back because I get really itchy back sometimes, but that came out of the back scratcher drink at the Polynesian. So
yeah,
washed it off. Now he uses his back scratcher.
An interesting souvenir.
It
is. I have to see if they have one of those at Trader Sam's next time.
Yes.
Not that I've seen, but we'll find out.
It's at Ohana, but I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they pretty much when you go to Trader Sam's, you're just getting their cool tiki mugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's hard for me, especially in terms of a technical standpoint, to find flaw in this movie. Very much like Psycho, it's just like it does its job. It does it well. This is the shortest out of all of the Hitchcock movies that we've watched this month, too.
And that's not really saying much because they're all about the same length.
I think it's an hour 54. But it was. Let's just put it this way: it was good. It was good enough that my kids did not complain about watching an old movie.
Oh wow!
I really enjoyed it.
Probably also
really enjoyed it. So
I mean,
every little
that's his.
contribution I can give to film history.
When you're talking a movie that is 70 years old, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. That movie is just. My mother was 2, I think, when that movie came out. 54, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, my mother was like 2 years old when that movie came out. So definitely, she didn't see it in the theater, so she's not a real fan.
Well, I'm pretty sure my mother didn't see it either. She is a Hitchcock fan, but
they were all. This was just. This was a fun month. And again, here's the thing about this movie that I liked, especially because throughout this month we've been complimenting the quality of what Netflix has put out for us with these high-end 4K prints. This of the 3 color movies that we watched, unbelievable. And I think a lot of that is because this movie didn't need to rely on the same type of matte and rare projection that The Birds or Vertigo had to do from time to time. This one is more, because it's all set in a very specific era. It evokes, it feels like a movie of its time, but it still, transcends to us now. We still enjoy it, but I feel like this print was excellent, especially just being able to see the sweat on Stewart's forehead.
They did a good job, and that one actually was nominated for a Best Cinematography Color Academy Award back in the day, so that may have contributed a great deal to why they were able to keep it looking so fresh after all this time.
The only moments where it kind of shows its age a little bit is obviously where after the flashbulb for that orange kind of and him falling out the window.
That because that was something that you wouldn't have seen back then in terms of just like, oh my eyes, and then they just get back. Having that from his point of view.
Yeah, but also him falling out the window. That's when you see the mat on it.
That was definitely, he was on a wire for that one. It was not. It wasn't great, but it's still better than like the opening of Vertigo.
Yeah. My quibble with that scene was when he is dropped, and they go to catch him. He obviously hits his head, yet it's his leg that got broken. But you see Stewart's head hit the ground. It's like, oh.
Oh yeah. I didn't look at the trivia on IMDb enough to see if there was any injuries that anybody sustained in this movie. Like, you just got like that one accident that and then he had nagging back pain for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this movie. I really, truly love this movie. And I don't know how long these movies are sticking around Netflix. I mean, I just saw it for June, and I'm like, let's jump on it now, because you never know what July is going to bring.
Yeah, and seeing Hitchcock movies come on streaming services is kind of few and far between.
Usually they'll either be here or Encore. Encore doesn't exist anymore. Now it would be MGM. But I'm actually shocked that either Peacock or Paramount would get them, seeing as how these are Universal release films under the Paramount banner.
Yeah. Yeah, you think Paramount Plus or maybe Peacock might have them.
I was saying, because that's their go-tos.
Yeah. But they're on Netflix, so watch them while you got them.
There we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. And the National Film Registry and the Library of Congress acknowledged it. It was rated by a film institute, the British Film Institute, as one of the greatest films ever made.
Nice.
So it's far from a controversial opinion that this one was one of his masterworks.
Yeah. Nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
Yeah, I'm also
oddly enough didn't win any of them, but
well, yeah,
that kills me that Hitchcock never won a competitive Oscar for directing.
Didn't he win Rebecca?
No, Rebecca won Best Picture, but he did not win Best Director for that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
Rear
and
Window is
yeah,
number 48 on the AFI list. So take what you will about the AFI list, which I have thoughts, but
well, yeah. We all have thoughts on the AFI list, but
I'm amazed that they don't do lists anymore.
no. But 48 is, you know what? Top 100 movies of all time, 48. That's top 50 is not a bad place to be.
Right.
So.
Well, this was a fun conversation, Jonna. Thanks so much for joining us throughout the month. Thanks for covering last week too, when my production meeting came up. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It was fun because I got to see some stuff that I hadn't seen before.
Oh, nice.
And you know, I did avoid the blood or the chocolate syrup, but oh well.
Yeah, mate, that's okay. That's quite all right. This was fun. I'd like to see. Honestly, I wouldn't mind doing North by Northwest at some point. I know it's either on Pluto or Tubi, but maybe another time.
Yeah.
So
going to fit so many movies in 1 month.
That's very true. And then in August, I'm going away for a week. So
yeah,
I don't know what the hell you're going to do. So anyway, that's all I got to say about Vertigo. Vertigo, my God, I'm a week behind. Rear Window. So we want to know, what are your thoughts on Rear Window? Where's this rank in your Hitchcock films? Is this up, or is this kind of in the middle, or is this down? We want to know. Leave a like, comment below. Give this video a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because you're here, man. And yeah, if you want to see more of our output, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get not only the audio here on YouTube, but as of our previous episode, which launched this week, so you can check that out wherever you get your podcast. We are doing a live feed. Our next episode, which I believe will be next Tuesday, we're going live, and we are talking about discontinued, defunct, no longer available snacks and beverages.
Or at least very, very rare.
Or at least so rare that the only place you're going to find them is on a dusty back shelf at Buc-ee's somewhere.
With an expiration date that you don't want to know about.
Was it?
Well, those things have so many preservatives in it, Jonna, it wouldn't matter. It's just like expiration date, irrelevant.
It's quite petrified at this point, but you can still eat it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's in that chocolate and the Dunkaroos, but... So anyway, yeah, you can watch this space because this is where we're going to be doing our live broadcasts as well. So join us for that. You can also follow us on the socials. We are on Facebook, Geek Salad Podcast, and on Blue Sky at geeksaladradio.bsky. Blah, 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 blah. So, Jonna, thanks again for joining us. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Close those damn windows, and we'll talk to you later. Go forth and be nerdful. Forgot our sign off.
Bye.